好，我叫黄思丽，现在我在航海大学学教，对吗 ？Correct？ 我可以说一点。So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So today, I'm very happy to be here to talk about green development in Port of Vietnam in general and Hai Phong Port green development in particular. So I'm very happy to see you here, and you are the master degree and PhD degree, and three of them are my maybe my colleague or somewhere else in Vietnam. Okay, so I do hope that you can understand my lecture, my discussion today. I don't want to call it a lecture because it's a little bit serious because no examination, right? Or examination. You will have examination on this discussion or not? No? Oh, okay. So don't take it serious. So take it easy. So why I discuss you about this issue? So I want to learn something from you, from your own country, like Pakistan, okay, and like Taiwan especially, okay. So first I would like to introduce a little bit about myself. So my name you know, okay. So I have been teaching for more than 25 years. And my major is mainly focused on maritime domain, okay, on shipping and especially on port field. And my PhD thesis is focused on policies related to port in Vietnam. And I have been to a lot of countries in all over the world, and I had a lot of courses in different countries. For example, in America, in Europe, in Japan, in Korea, and some conferences in Taiwan. Okay, and now I have had one husband with 2 children. Okay, with 2 children, and in the future I don't know. Okay, and this is my son. And yeah, he was born in 2003, and in this April he will graduate from his university, IMIT, for more than 1 year, and for 2 years, another 2 years for his first and second years. He studied in Netherlands, in Rotterdam Erasmus University, but he disliked to be far from home, so he wanted to study very close to my family or something like that. Okay, and okay, so maybe you can ask me about myself, okay, or my information or my something like that in the break. So now I would like to know a little bit about you. Okay, so you first. Okay, we respect you because you are not as our age or something like that. So today I would like to talk about green port development. So firstly, I would like you to understand a little bit about Vietnam. So how do you know about Vietnam? So yes, and last time I just asked the same question, and the answer from the foreigner, one of my friend in the past, and he said that I know about you about the world. The worlds. Do you know the world? The worlds between Vietnam and America, and the world between Vietnam and another nation. And this time, you said that you know about Vietnam, about cuisine, about culture, and about beautiful landscape. So thank you so much. Okay, and you know that Vietnam has a very favorable geographication, location. Okay. We have a long coastal line, okay, so it is very suitable for port development or maritime domain in general. So we have 3 faces, okay, faces to the East Sea. So, so with the very suitable location, so it can help Vietnam to develop maritime domain or industries in general and port in particular. So, you know about a little bit about Vietnam history because it has a long history. So I don't want to talk to you again because it will take time. Okay, and climate. So do you know anything or information about Vietnam climate? So it depends on the region. So we have three regions in Vietnam: the north, the middle, and the south. So different climate. For example, in the North Vietnam, there are 4 seasons. However, in the South Vietnam, we have only 2 seasons, only dry season and rainy season. In the North Vietnam, we have 4 spring, summer, autumn, and winter, like a Kaohsiung. So now I'm living in the North Vietnam, Hai Phong. And Hai Phong, something in common with the Kaohsiung. We also have a port, and we also are a port city. Okay. And population. So now we have more than 100 million people. And do you know how about the proportions of female and male? So now the proportions of male is a little bit more than the proportions of female. So in the future, it will increase. It will be increased. So it is a problem. Okay, it will be the problems of society for the society. And we have a 40 or 55 ethnic group. Okay, you can have another figures related to population. If you want to ask me, so maybe we're going to discuss in the break, at break. So FDI. So we have a lot of foreign investor, and especially Taiwan. Taiwan is one of the biggest investor in Vietnam in recent year. And in 2003, Taiwan ranked in the 3rd biggest foreign investor in Vietnam. Okay. And currency. Currencies in Vietnam, we have a different kinds of paper note and also polymer. Okay, you can see different kinds of currencies in Vietnam. And $1 equal to more than 25 Vietnamese thousand dollars. And $1 Taiwan is equal to nearly 800 Vietnamese dollars. So the culture of Vietnam is very interesting. Okay, so you can know some cultures of Vietnamese. Okay, wedding, and customs, and especially on Tết holidays. We have a big celebration and we have a long holiday for Tết holiday, okay, on Tết holiday. And after Tết holiday, the people tend to gain weight because no work, just eating and playing and doing laser things, okay. And Vietnamese traditional dress, okay. You can see me in the picture in the purple dress, the long dress. I was in America in 2011. And a lot of famous leaders in the world wear Vietnamese traditional dress. In Da Nang, in Hanoi, okay, we hold a very famous or international committees on convention or meeting for famous leaders in the world, in Vietnam. And cuisine. You know some of cuisines in Vietnam, okay? And especially phở and spring roll and chim cake, okay, chim cake. And fruit, because we are a tropical country, so we have a lot of fruit in Vietnam, and we export our fruit to all over the world, maybe including Taiwan and Japan and Europe, okay, and China. So we have a lot of beautiful landscape, okay. You can know Hạ Long Bay and Hội An, okay, and Huế in the South Vietnam, in Middle Vietnam, in the North Vietnam, and Hanoi is the capital of Vietnam, okay. Ho Chi Minh City. And that's a little bit information about Vietnam, and I do hope that you can understand a little bit Vietnam and maybe some figures, okay, or some fact and information about Vietnam, like a geographical location and population and especially economics. So it will have impact on port development in Vietnam. So now I focus on the green ports development in Vietnam. So firstly, I'd like to introduce a little bit about the reason why we have to develop the port into green one. So do you know why? Do you know the reason why? Because of the global warming, okay? Because of the pollution from the maritime domain. So how many kinds of means of transport in the world? So how many kinds of means of transportation in the world? 3? So can you tell me? 5. How many? How many kinds of means of transport? So the first one, air transport, okay? And, okay, road transport and rail transport and,
sea pipe,
okay, pipeline transport.
and cable car.
Cable car, transport passenger.
Passenger, no, only maybe in Taiwan we also have the car.
Oh, maybe this one will become number 7, okay? Rail transport and sea transport. And one more. Okay, inland waterway transport. So according to you, which one will have a bad, okay, the worst impact on the environment? Which one? Sea transport and air transport. And inland transport is said to be the greenest one. So sea transport, okay, sea transport is one of transport that can have a bad image to the environment. So that is the reason one we have to do something for our Earth, for our global, okay, today. And do you know the timeline for zero carbonization? Do you know? UNTA, okay, or United Nations has to decide that all the nation or everything will be zero, okay, net zero in 2050. Okay, that is the timelines in the world, and it depends on each country. Okay, so they will have their own timelines for carrying out this strategy or this destination or something like that. So the reason why we have to develop the maritime will become greener and greener, and port in particular. Okay, so I don't want to tell you more about that because I think that you know it already. And you know that there are so many kinds of pollution at the port, and each kind of pollution has their own reason, and we have to find out the ways, okay, to limit, okay, or to minimize the bad impact from this reason to the port environment. So we have 5 kinds of pollution at the port, okay, air pollution, land pollution, and another one, okay, very trend, okay, you just know only 4, but the last one, it will be the 5. We have 5, okay, 5 kinds of pollution at the port. And now I would like to talk a little bit about Vietnamese seaport system. So, do you know how many seaports in Vietnam? Do you know how many seaports in Vietnam? Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know exactly the numbers of seaports, so you just read the news on internet. Maybe it's not correct, because all the reporters or some kinds of experts in maritime domain, they said that more than 100 or more than 200 seaports in Vietnam is not the correct answer. Okay, because you have to make a distinction between a port, a terminal, a quay, or berth, okay, and a port company. So what is the difference? In a port, so there are more than one terminals, okay, and in the terminals there is more than one berth or key, and a port company manage and operates more than one terminal. So in Vietnam we have only 34 or 35 seaports currently. However, we have more than 200 terminals. 200 terminals. Okay, and seaport in Vietnam divided into three main regions. The first one, the north, okay, and the second one, the middle, and the south of Vietnam. Okay, it's from the north to the south of Vietnam and divided into three main regions. And we have a five group. Group 1, Group 2. In the past we have 6 groups, okay? Group 3, Group 4, and Group 5, okay? So how many seaports in Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4, and Group 5? Okay, how many? So in Group 1, we have 4. Okay, Group 1, okay, located in the north of Vietnam, or in the north of Vietnam there is only one group. And in the middle of Vietnam we have 2 groups. Okay, the north and the south in the middle of Vietnam. And in the south of Vietnam we have 2 groups of seaport. So totally we have 34 seaport, or in the future we will have 35 or 36 seaport. Okay, and the problem is that the numbers of seaport in the north, now we have only 4. The numbers of seaport in the middle of Vietnam, how many? Nearly 20. And the other group, okay, Group 4 and Group 5, more than 10 or about 10. However, the cargo throughput is different from the north and the south and the middle of Vietnam. In the north of Vietnam, accounting for about 30%, and in the middle of Vietnam about more than 20, and the other belong to the south of Vietnam. Why? Do you know the reason why? Okay, a polymer. Why? Do you know why? Do you have any idea about this one? Why? You try to. That's the reason why. Because of the geographical location. You can see the north of Vietnam, okay, the middle of Vietnam, and the south of Vietnam. And from the geographical location, it will define the climate, the economics situation, okay? And it will define the port hinterland. The port hinterland, do you know? Is a place that we can have goods from the hinterland transported to the port for export. And vice versa is the reason that the goods import through the port to distribute to this region. So port hinterland is very important, okay? So economics, okay? Economics. And the second one, transport infrastructures in the port hinterland. Port hinterland is very important to the port development, okay? And it is defined by the geographical location. In the middle of Vietnam, it's very long and narrow, and a lot of tropical storms visit the middle of Vietnam annually. So we cannot develop our economics in the middle of Vietnam. Not as bad or as good as in the south and in the north of Vietnam. And a lot of industrial zones, factories, companies located in the south of Vietnam and in the north of Vietnam. And the infrastructures, okay, in the middle of Vietnam, it's hilly, a lot of mountain, okay, up and downs. So we cannot develop all kinds of means of transport. However, in the North Vietnam and in the South Vietnam, it's very easy, okay, much more convenient to develop all kinds of transport. To transport goods from the port hinterland to the port for export and vice for import. Okay, you got it? Okay. Do you have any question for me?